The 3rd Cavalry Division was a division of the British Army in the First World War. It was formed at Ludgershall, Wiltshire, England in September 1914 under the command of Major-General the Hon.Julian Byng. The division moved to Belgium in the first week of October 1914, landing at Ostend, although its 3rd Brigade was only formed once there. During the war, the division took part in most of the major actions where cavalry were used as a mounted mobile force, and also many where the troops were dismounted and effectively served as infantry. On November 11, 1918, units of the division had reached the river Dender at Loos and Lessines in Belgium, when orders were received that they would cover the advance of the British Second Army into Germany. They started the advance on the 17th of November, divisional headquarters being established at Waterloo on the 21st of November. The following winter was spent in Belgium, but by the 31st of March 1919, the division was demobilized. History. Formation. The 3rd Cavalry Division began forming on the 1st of September 1914 at Ludgershall, Wiltshire. Initially it commanded just 2 cavalry brigades, the 6th and the 7th, and divisional troops. The 6th Cavalry Brigade was formed with the 1st Dragoons and the 10th Hussars, both from Potchefstroom, South Africa, and the 3rd Dragoon Guards from the force in Egypt. The only regular British Army cavalry regiments not stationed in the United Kingdom or India at the outbreak of the war. The 7th Cavalry Brigade was formed with the 3 household cavalry regiments, the only regular cavalry regiments remaining in the United Kingdom after mobilization of the BEF and its transport to France. The 1st Life Guards joined from Hyde Park, the 2nd Life Guards from Regent's Park, and the Royal Horse Guards from Windsor. Each regiment only consisted of 2 squadrons, as each had provided a squadron to the Household Cavalry Composite Regiment in 4th Cavalry Brigade. In August 1914, the detached squadrons did not rejoin the parent regiments until the 11th of November 1914 in Belgium. 15 Brigade Royal Horse Artillery was formed for the division. In peacetime, K Battery Row was at Christchurch and C Battery Row at Canterbury. Later, G Battery Row would join in Belgium. Strangely, 2 RA brigades formed early in the war were simultaneously designated as 15 Brigade RA. The other was formed at Leamington, Warwickshire in January 1915 for 29th Division. The 3rd Cavalry Division's brigade was renumbered as 4 Brigade RA in May 1915. The 3rd Field Squadron Royal Engineers was formed on the 16th of September, and the 3rd Signal Squadron Royal Engineers on the 12th of September, both at Ludgershall. The division was also provided with 2 cavalry field ambulances, 2 mobile veterinary sections, and a divisional supply column. The division departed Ludgershall on the 5th of October, embarked at Southampton on the 6th of October, and landed at Ostend on the 8th of October, and deployed to the Western Front in France and Belgium. Early actions. The 3rd Cavalry Division served on the Western Front until the end of the war. In 1914, the division saw action in the defense of Antwerp and the First Battle of Ypres, notably the battles of Longuemarque, Gheluvelt and Non-Bosschen, to bring the division up to the standard strength of 3 brigades. The 8th Cavalry Brigade was formed in Belgium on the 20th of November 1914 with the 10th Hussars from 6th Cavalry Brigade and the Royal Horse Guards from 7th Cavalry Brigade. Each brigade was made up to 3 regiment strength with yeomanry regiments. 6th Cavalry Brigade with the 1/1 of a Stone North Somerset Yeomanry from 1st South Western Mounted Brigade. 7th Cavalry Brigade with the 1/1 of a Stone Leicestershire Yeomanry from North Midland Mounted Brigade, and 8th Cavalry Brigade with the 1/1 of a Stone Essex Yeomanry from Eastern Mounted United Brigade. With the addition of its 3rd Brigade, 3rd Cavalry Division also obtained a 3rd Cavalry Field Ambulance and a 3rd Mobile Veterinary Section. In 1915, the division took part in the Second Battle of Ypres and the Battle of Loos. On the 29th of February 1916, machine gun squadrons were added to the cavalry brigades, formed from the machine gun sections of each brigade's constituent regiments. 1916 saw no notable actions, but in 1917 the division saw action in the Battle of Arras. At other times the brigades formed dismounted units and served in the trenches as regiments under the command of the brigadiers. Reconstituted in March 1918, the 4th and 5th Cavalry Divisions were broken up in France. The Indian elements were sent to Egypt, where they formed part of the new 4th and 5th Cavalry Divisions, which played a major part in the successful conclusion of the Sinai and Palestine campaign. The British and Canadian units remained in France, and most of them were transferred to the 3rd Cavalry Division, causing it to be extensively reorganized. The household cavalry regiments were concentrated in the 7th Cavalry Brigade and the yeomanry regiments in the 8th Cavalry Brigade. The latter left the division on the 14th of March 1918, the day after the Canadian Cavalry Brigade joined from 5th Cavalry Division. The 3 household cavalry regiments left 7th Cavalry Brigade on the 10th of March. They were dismounted and converted to machine gunners as No. 1, No. 2 and No. 3 battalions of the Guards Machine Gun Regiment at Étaples. They were replaced in the brigade on the same day by the 7th Dragoon Guards from 9th Cavalry Brigade of the 5th Cavalry Division, the 6th Dragoons from 5th Cavalry Brigade of the 4th Cavalry Division, and the 17th Lancers from 2nd Cavalry Brigade, also of the 4th Cavalry Division. On the 11th of March, all 3 regiments came on the British War Establishment i.e. changed from a 4-squadron to a 3-squadron organization. 1918 saw the return of the War of Movement, and the division took part in the First Battle of the Somme, notably the Battle of Saint-Quentin, actions of the Somme crossings and Battle of the Havre, the Battle of Amiens, and the battles of the Hindenburg Line. Its final action was in the advance in Flanders. Armistice. At the armistice, units of the division had reached the river Dender at Loos and Lessines in Belgium, when orders were received that they would cover the advance of the Second Army into Germany. They started the advance on the 17th of November, divisional headquarters being established at Waterloo on the 21st of November. Transport difficulties meant that the only one cavalry division could advance with Second Army, so the following winter was spent in Belgium. By the 31st of March 1919, the division was demobilized. Order of battle. 6th Cavalry Brigade. 6th Cavalry Brigade was formed on the 19th of September 1914 at Ludgershall, Wiltshire, and served with the division throughout the war. 7th Cavalry Brigade. 7th Cavalry Brigade was formed on the 1st of September 1914 at Ludgershall, Wiltshire, and served with the division throughout the war. It was extensively restructured on the 10th of March 1918. 8th Cavalry Brigade. 8th Cavalry Brigade was formed in Belgium on the 20th of November 1914. It left the division on the 14th of March 1918, the day after the Canadian Cavalry Brigade joined. Canadian Cavalry Brigade. The Canadian Cavalry Brigade was attached to the division from the 10th of April to the 17th of June 1916 before transferring to the 2nd Indian Cavalry Division. It rejoined the division on the 13th of March 1918 from 5th Cavalry Division. Royal Canadian Dragoons Lord Strathcona's Horse, Fort Garry Horse Canadian Cavalry Brigade Machine Gun Squadron, Canadian Cavalry Signal Troop Divisional Artillery 4 Brigade, Royal Horse Artillery C Battery, Royal Horse Artillery attached to 6th Cavalry Brigade G Battery, Royal Horse Artillery attached to 8th Cavalry Brigade K Battery, Royal Horse Artillery attached to 7th Cavalry Brigade 4 Brigade Ammunition Column, Royal Canadian Horse Artillery Brigade A Battery, RCHA-B Battery, RCHA Divisional Troops. The division was supported by the following units. Commanders. The 3rd Cavalry Division had the following commanders. Bibliography. Beck Major A.F. Order of Battle of Divisions Part 1. The Regular British Divisions. London, His Majesty's Stationery Office. ISBN 1-871-16709-4. James Brigadier. British Regiments 1914-18. London, Samson Books Limited. ISBN 0-906304-032. Perry, F.W. Order of Battle of Divisions Part 5b. Indian Army Divisions. Newport, Gwent, Ray Westlake Military Books. ISBN 1-871-16723-X.